It's on? I guess it is on. Good evening and welcome to the City of Montebello Planning Commission meeting. Today is August 15th, 2023. Can we get the roll call, please?
Good evening, Commissioners. I'll take roll. Chair Cuevas,
Here.
Commissioner Lomelli,
Present.
Commissioner Medina,
Present.
Commissioner Morales.
Present.
Let the record reflect Commissioner Valdez will be absent today. We have a quorum. Thank you.
Great, thank you. If I can have everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is corrections to the agenda. Are there any?
There are no corrections to the agenda for tonight's meeting.
Thank you. The next item is public comments. If we can have somebody read that paragraph, please.
Will do. The general public may address the Planning Commission on any items listed on tonight's agenda, including items that are not listed on the agenda but which are within the Planning Commission's subject matter jurisdiction. Please be aware that the maximum time allotted for members of the public to speak shall not exceed 3 minutes per person, and state law prohibits the Planning Commission from acting or entertaining extended discussion on a topic not listed on tonight's agenda. Please show courtesy to others and direct all comments to the chair, and the speaker cards are on the table here if you wish to speak. Thank you.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is staff communications. Is there any?
There are no staff communications tonight.
Great, moving along quickly. The next item is the public hearing section of the agenda.
So item 1 on tonight's agenda relates to a request from Clear Channel Outdoor for a proposed amendment to the city sign regulations contained in Chapter 1762 of the Montebello Municipal Code. The applicant's request also includes 2 separate amended and restated development agreements between the city and Clear Channel Outdoor, and this would allow the relocation and replacement of existing lawfully permitted static off-premises outdoor signs for properties located at 1633 Washington Boulevard and 1720 Bluff Road. Monica Mercado Rodriguez will provide a brief presentation, and I believe the applicant is also in attendance and will be providing a presentation tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
So good evening, Chair, Commissioners, and the public. As Joseph mentioned, the item before you is a request from Clear Channel to amend Chapter 17.62, signs of the Montebello Municipal Code. The proposed changes would modify sections of Chapter 1762 to include regulations pertaining to location, size, and distance requirements from other similar types of signs as it pertains to the conversions of off-premises signs. In addition, the applicant is also seeking to enter into 2 amended and reinstated development agreements between the City of Montebello and Clear Channel, which will replace development agreement number 02-22, agreement number 4032, and development agreement 03-22, agreement number 4033 for the relocation and replacement of existing permitted dual-face static off-premises outdoor advertising signs located in 1633 Washington Boulevard and 1720 Bluff Road in the City of Montebello. The project also includes a takedown program which will remove 4 static signs within the city. The 4 static signs targeted for takedown include a double-face 12x25 outdoor advertising sign with printed display faces located on a property at 8105 Slauson Avenue, and the double-face 12x25 outdoor advertising sign with printed display sign faces located on the property of 249 East Beverly Boulevard. So the item was first scheduled for a public hearing on July 18, 2023, but the item was continued to the August 1st, 2023, and again on August 15th at the request of the applicant in order to finalize the proposed text amendments. Since that time, 1 minor change was made to remove the proposed amendment to Appendix A, which the commissioners received the copy of the revised proposed text amendment modifications. So more recently, staff received the applicant's proposed text amendment that includes a definition for digital displays under section 17.62.170. The definition creates conflicting interpretations of the code. Therefore, the language provided to you today in hard copy form and then the slide before you to provide clarity and consistency with the city's interpretation of the code. So these revisions were reviewed by the city attorney's office, and we believe they provide a clear, concise interpretation of the proposed text amendment. The request before you is covered by the common sense exemption, which the California Environmental Quality Act states that the CEQA applies only to projects which have the potential for causing a significant effect on the environment, and states that where it can be seen with certainty that there is no possibility that the activity in question may have a significant effect on the environment, the activity is not subject to CEQA. In addition, the proposed project is also exempt from CEQA Class 3 of Sections 15303, construction or conversions of small structures. So the proposed relocation and replacement of an existing off-premises dual-phase static sign with a new off-premises dual-phase digital sign, including, among other things, minor modifications to the exterior structure, as well as enhancements to include the most current technology, does not have the potential to degrade the quality of the environment or have a significant effect on the environment. So the request was publicly noticed on July 6th and was mailed to all property owners within 300-foot radius from the exterior boundaries of the subject properties. In addition, on July 10th, the public hearing notice was posted at the subject properties. So staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 08-23, which is a recommendation to adopt an ordinance of the City Council approving a text amendment amending Chapter 17.62, Signs of the Municipal Code, to include regulations to conversions of off-premises signs, as well as adopt Resolution 06-23, recommending adoption of an ordinance of the City Council approving, amending, and reinstated development agreement between the City of Montebello and Clear Channel Outdoor LLC for the property located at 1633 Washington, and adopt resolution number 07-23, recommending adoption of an ordinance of the City Council approving the amended and restated development agreement between the City of Montebello and Clear Channel Outdoor LLC for the property located at 1720 South Bluff Road, as well as determine and find that the project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to the common sense exemption, as well as Section 15303 related to the construction and location of limited numbers of new or facilities, or small facilities or structures, and the conversion of existing small structures that are consistent with the city's general plan, policies, and zoning regulations. So this concludes my presentation, but the applicant is present and they do have a presentation, so I'll go ahead and
Mr. Chair, if I may, I just need to add one more comment to the staff report. It looks like when the information was converted to effectively make these changes, some information was inadvertently omitted from Chapter 1762, specifically Montebello Municipal Code Section 1762-100. And that section will remain unchanged. There's no proposed changes. But again, it was inadvertently excluded from the section that's included in the packet. And I would like to ask the city attorney maybe to shed some more light on this.
Thank you, Director Palumbi. I just want to state two things on the record. So the presentation mentioned a change that was recent from yesterday. That change was made, the revision was made to the language just to clarify a few things, because there was a word that was in the middle of the paragraph, or the word that was not supposed to be there. So I guess when it was written previously, it was written incorrectly. So that portion was cleared up. That's section 17.62.050. So again, that was nothing substantive. It's just to clarify the exemptions and prohibitions of the digital signs. And also, as Director Palombi mentioned, the section that was inadvertently omitted from the published draft ordinance here will be made part of the ordinance that is presented if the recommendation is approved today. Thank you, that's all. And we could open the public hearing, it'd be appropriate to do so.
Great, thank you for that clarification. I'll go ahead and open the public hearing. And it's probably appropriate for the applicant to come forward and address the commission and process the presentation.
Hi.
Oh, the clicker.
Thank you so much, Commissioners. Thank you for having us tonight and allowing me the opportunity to present our project to you. My name is David McWalters. I'm the Senior Vice President of Real Estate and Public Affairs for Clear Channel, and I'm excited about this opportunity that we're presenting to the city this evening. We're talking about converting two of our existing structures, four facings, they're two-sided each, to digital technology. This type of technology has been around for over 15 years now, and it provides cities and communities dynamic messaging, including community messaging, which we're providing as part of this development agreement, as well as emergency messaging capabilities. So fire, things like that, we're able to have those. And in addition to that, we also provide Amber Alerts that are hooked up to the Justice Department. In addition to that, our signs change every 8 seconds. It's on a 64-second loop, so there's 8 messages that change every 8 seconds. In addition to that, our technology is the lighting out there is a concern, but does not go above 3.3 foot candles above ambient light, which is, we have a light study that we performed at each of the locations that we're talking about, and there's no additional ambient light or spillage out there on this technology. Face the mic for you. Oh, sorry. And in addition to our development agreement, we are doing two things. We're providing a revenue source, ongoing revenue source to the city of Montebello, and we are providing a one-time payment that I understand you're going to be using to actually refurbish your existing digital sign at City Hall. In addition to that, we are removing a number of structures in the city, so there will be a net reduction. I've been doing these relocation agreements throughout the state of California and around the country for many years, and the idea, it's provided under the outdoor advertising, encouraged by the legislature to work with cities to provide revenue and take down opportunities to cities. And that's precisely what we're doing here today. So want to just go into a little bit into detail what the proposal is. We currently have 16 existing poster panel facings on 9 different structures in the city of Montebello. In 2022, we reached an agreement to change over 5 of those facings to digital and remove signs. There was some concern about one of the locations, and we have subsequently in May, we removed that structure and converted it back to the existing. In that time, the city staff, along with city attorney's office and Clear Channel, have been working with the community on the text amendment that you're discussing tonight and the changes to that text amendment. In addition to that, I mentioned that it's an ongoing revenue source. You'll be receiving $40,000 a year in payment to the city, a one-time payment of $80,000 to the city for refurbishment of your sign, along with community messaging throughout the year. So, and I can walk you through each of the locations that we're going to do. I think it's been mentioned already. We also have several signs that we're removing, so it's a net reduction of outdoor advertising structures in the city of Montebello. So these are the signs that we're converting. They're once again two-sided, so each of them, there's no need to rebuild the structures. These digital facings are very light, just like your screens, your television screens. They're very lightweight. They're attached. So we're going to convert two sides, or each of the two-sided signs. And then the other side here at Slauson and Bluff is the west face. The other location on Washington and Vale. And in addition to that, the east-facing one at Washington and Vale. And then, as we've discussed, we're removing the signs, several sign structures in the city as well. One is at Beverly and Wilbur. It's a west-facing unit. Here's another one, two-sided sign, once again, so that sign will be removed as part of the development agreement. No compensation required, nothing. We take it down at our own expense. And the other structure is at Slauson and Telegraph, and that's the west face. And here is the east facing of that structure. So those two structures will be removed. And then, once again, we are providing a one-time payment to the city that, it's my understanding, we're going to be working with staff to rebuild your existing digital display at City Hall. I want to just talk about the community events. We've been in the process over the last year providing those nights or community events that you have in the things, and we'll be working with staff ongoing through the term of the agreement to provide that kind of community messaging as well at no cost to the city. So if that's my presentation tonight. I know that to text them in if you have any questions. I'm here available to answer them.
Thank you. I'll open it up to the commissioners to see if anyone has any questions. For Mr. Walters, I think you said, right?
Yes, McWalters, David McWalters.
Thank you. Any questions? No. Okay, if not, I have a couple of questions and maybe
Sure.
just a clarification. I think you might have said that the signs are dynamic, but I think they're supposed to be static with the messaging changing every 64 seconds, correct?
Every 8 seconds, a 64-second loop. So it changes immediately. There's no moving, there's no video. We're not allowed to do that. And we changed it's instantaneous. And there's eight advertisements or messages, and then it changes every 8 seconds. And it goes in a loop.
Got it, thank you. And my understanding from this new technology with digital signs is that the brightness is adjusted throughout the day based on the lighting, the ambient lighting, meaning that they're brighter probably during the day, and at night when the brightness is not as necessary, the brightness is reduced because it's dark outside. Can you clarify that?
Yes, that is correct. Technology has changed dramatically on these signs, and we do have, each one of them are adjusted. They also have the capability of being shut down remotely 24 hours a day. So.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I just had a real quick question. I'm wondering if these signs face any commercial or residential properties?
They do not. They're with the new text amendment, it requires 500-foot spacing, so there's nothing pointing to residential, and there's no light spillage. And we did that in the study that we provided to the city as well. So no residents on these two locations.
Great.
That was the concern of one of them, and we removed it.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions? No? All right, thank you. Appreciate your
Thank
time.
you.
Great. I see a few members of the public out there. If anyone wishes to speak in support or in opposition, or any general comments regarding this presentation before you tonight? I don't think any speaker cards were submitted, right?
That's correct. We did not receive any speaker cards and/or public comments on this item.
Thank you. Okay. If there's no additional comments or from the public or from the applicant, we'll go ahead and close the public hearing and bring this back to the commissioners. Commissioners, any comments or discussion? No? Okay, everybody seems to be comfortable with this. Can we entertain a motion?
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve text code amendment case number PC 2023-006-TCA with the recommendations 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Thank you, Commissioner Lomelli. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. We have a first and a second. Can we get roll call?
Yes. Chair Cuevas?
Aye.
Commissioner Lomelli?
Aye.
Commissioner Medina?
Aye.
Commissioner Morales?
Aye.
Item 1 is approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving down to the next item on the agenda. Item number 2.
Thank you. Item 2 is a request for a conditional use permit to allow the on-sale dispensing of beer and wine in conjunction with a bona fide restaurant located at 2501 Via Campo Boulevard, and I believe Emily Fernandez will be presenting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, chairs, member of the Planning Commission, and the public. The item before you is a request to allow the on-sale dispensing of beer and wine within a bona fide restaurant, Bag O' Crabs, located at 2501 Via Campo. The project site is located within an existing commercial retail shopping center located on the southeast corner of Via Campo and Wilcox Avenue, within the C2 zone general commercial. The restaurant will be within an existing commercial retail shopping center with a total lot area of approximately 11,244 square feet. The building the applicant intends to occupy for the restaurant use is approximately 5,520 square feet. On July 9th, the applicant Nick Wing, on behalf of ML Housing LLC for Bag O' Crab Restaurant, filed a conditional use permit application to allow the on-sale dispensing of beer and wine, Type 41, California Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control at 2501 Via Campo. On July 10th, staff issued a deemed complete letter. The entitlement associated with the project includes a provision of a conditional use permit with conditions to permit the on-sale dispensing of beer and wine at a bona fide restaurant, Bag O' Crabs. The project site is zoned C2 general commercial, surrounded by commercially zoned properties to the south, east, and west, and the California State Highway 60 Pomona Freeway to the north. The immediate surrounding land uses are general commercial, which is consistent with the commercial designated land use and will not have an adverse impact on adjacent or abutting properties. The recommended conditions and mitigation measures will ensure that any potential impact to the surrounding residential uses are limited or negligible. The slide before you is an overview of the site plan of the project site. As previously mentioned, the site is approximately 11,244 square feet with a building area of approximately 5,520 square feet. The total available off-street parking space count is 19. This slide before you is the existing floor plan of the restaurant that shows the dining area with 105 seats. The restaurant does not have a bar area. The hours of operation will be from 11:30 a.m. to 10 p.m., Monday through Sunday. The floor plan visible here demonstrates the overall breakdown of the interior of the restaurant, including the designated dining area, kitchen area, and the restrooms. The project site is located within Census Tract number 5300.05, which permits 4 on-sale license types and 2 off-sale license types. Census Tract number 5300.05 currently has 5 on-sale license types and 2 off-sale licenses. Therefore, the Census Tract would continue to be oversaturated with the proposed total of 6 on-sale license types. The applicant believes that the license will serve the public convenience or necessity as the addition of beer and wine sales will further differentiate the restaurant from others in the area, filling a niche for those looking for a quality dining experience with an alcoholic beverage option, resulting to an increase in direct sales and attracting more customers to the shopping center, boosting growth for other residences as well. While hiring locally, the applicant's goals are to maintain a clean, attractive, and welcoming environment. The applicant believes that offering beer and wine will enhance their customers' dining experience, but their primary focus is on providing high-quality food and excellent service. The proposed project is considered a project per the California Environmental Quality Act definition. Project is categorically exempt from CEQA per Class 1 of Section 15301 related to existing facilities. On August 3rd, 2023, the public hearing notice was mailed to owners within the 300-foot radius from the exterior boundaries of the project property, and the same day, the public hearing notice was published in the daily journal, Montebello News. Based on staff's presentation and staff report, staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 0723 approving the conditional use permit with conditions to allow the on-sale dispensing of beer and wine and adopt a notice of exemption under CEQA 15301 existing facilities. Thank you. This concludes my presentation. Staff and the applicant are available for questions.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? No?
If I may, it'd be appropriate to reopen the public hearing for this item.
Sure. When the
Yeah.
applicant comes up, is that
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, that's fine.
Thank you. All right, thank you. If no other questions, I guess we'll let the applicant come forward, and we'll open the public hearing for that. Thank you. Was it Mr. Wang, the applicant, that is speaking? Mr. Wang, is that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, please come up. Thank you.
Yeah, just like Emily said, we are opening a Cajun seafood restaurant. Trying to apply a conditional user permit for the ABC license, beer and wine. I think majority of our sales is seafood and general food. It's not the beer and wine, but beer and wine is just for guests to enjoy it for their enjoyment.
Is your restaurant already open?
No,
It's not open yet?
no, not
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
Right. Great, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Wang?
I have a few. This is the old Coco's, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And what are the hours of operation of the facility?
It's 11:30 to 10 p.m.
10 p.m. Okay. And will there be any layout changes as part of the improvement, the tenant improvement?
No,
No?
yeah, we just get some new paint and new finishers.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, thank you. Okay, no speaker cards for this one either? No? Okay. But I do see, oh, sorry.
So we could, I think before the meeting, someone came up and asked if they could speak. I don't know if they filled out a speaker card or not, but if, yeah, you can come up and speak if you have anything to say for the item. The commission
okay
can
if-
entertain the,
How about if we conclude this item and then allow this member of the public to then come and address the planning commission after the conclusion of this item, if that's okay, sir? Oh, thank you. Great, so continuing on with this item, I do see members of the public. If there's anyone out there that wishes to come up and speak in support or opposition of this proposal, please come up. Okay, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and bring this back to the commissioners. Commissioners, are there any comments or questions?
I have a question. Were any letters or, complaints received by the neighboring businesses or residents surrounding the area?
Regarding this particular request, I don't believe we received any public comments from anyone in the 300-foot radius or in connection with the item, so, no.
that's correct.
Great, thank you. Any other questions, comments? No? Okay, are we ready to make a motion on this one?
I'll go ahead and motion to allow the conditional use permit, case number PC 2023-0007-CUP, to allow the on-sale dispensing of beer and wine in conjunction with the bona fide restaurant, Bagel Crab, located at 2501 Via Campo Boulevard.
Thank you, and I'll second that. Can we get a roll call?
Sure thing, Chair. Chair Cuevas,
Aye.
Commissioner Lomelli,
Aye.
Commissioner Medina,
Aye.
Commissioner Morales.
Aye.
Item 2 is approved. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Wang, and good luck to you, sir.
When do you plan to open? August.
This is August. We were gonna go there right after the meeting. Yeah.
I'll be there tomorrow.
Exactly. All right, thank you. All right, so we have additional items to cover, but being that there's someone in the public wishing to address the commission or the city or in general comments, would it be okay to allow this member of the public to address the commission? Okay, sir, thank you. Please come up and state your name for the record.
Thank you, Chairman and Commission. My name is Glenn Kuniyuki. I'm a resident on Gardner Drive in Montebello. I have been trying to get the solar installation on my residence completed. The company, Complete Solar, has completed putting the panels on my roof and in implementing the backup battery in the side of my house. The delay that I'm bringing up to you folks is the fact that they can't proceed to hook this up for it to be operational until Southern California Edison can come in and make a modification on the existing power grid that's there and the fuse box. Southern California Edison has gotten the permit to do so. Complete Solar has gotten a permit to do so. And when I've called them to follow up to find out what the delay is, because this has been going on since May 22nd, so it's 12 weeks now, they tell me that they are waiting on the city of Montebello to issue a permit. And I've been told by somebody at Complete Solar that they contacted Mr. Paloma and did not get a response. I was also told by somebody at Southern California Edison that they are just waiting for the city to move because they are ready to go immediately to handle this. And I am growing impatient because I've already been invoiced on this and have already paid the invoice to the Complete Solar, but I don't have any solar power being generated or being used because it's not operational. And they told me that once the permit is issued, it should be a matter of a half-day installation and then it'll be fully operational. So I am bringing this up to the Planning Commission to make you aware of it. I'm also seeking to see if you can give me any advice or assistance in trying to get this resolved. I mean, I know the commission might not necessarily be the one that has the authority to do that, but perhaps you know who in the city can issue those permits that are necessary.
Yes, I think you said it or stated it correctly. The Plan Commission does not have authority over that. But maybe to save time and not dive into a deep discussion, would it be okay, Mr. Palombi, if someone can assist this gentleman after the meeting? Okay.
Okay.
If you stick around, sir, somebody
Yeah.
will help you and
Sure.
help, direct you to hopefully get this
Okay.
successfully completed and, activated.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
We appreciate your patience. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to item number 3 and 4 consent items, or can we take them both together, or?
I think it's a consent calendar, so it's more of a, I think one is an update to the commission.
Oh, okay, okay, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Item 3 on tonight's agenda, on the consent calendar, it's intended to provide the commission with an update on the proposed objective development standards. And again, this is a receive and file item, so it's more of an update. And I believe this has been something that has been previously presented to the commission, and this is more of an update to that work, so.
Right.
And Daniel's here to provide that presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chair, Planning Commissioners, and member of the public. This evening, AECom, a design and planning consulting firm, will be providing a presentation regarding the proposed citywide objective design standards program. The project is funded through the 2020-2021 Sustainable Communities Program, a technical assistance program provided by the Southern California Association of Governments, or SCAG for short. City staff has been working with staff from AECom and SCAG since March of '22 to implement the program in the city of Montebello. Planning staff recommends that the information included in the staff report and in the presentation by AECom be received and filed, and that the Planning Commission provide planning staff with feedback regarding any additional action the Planning Commission would like to take related to the project. And for now, I'd like to introduce Susan Ambrosini of AECom, who will be providing the presentation related to the proposed citywide objective development design standards program.
Thank you, Daniel. All right, I'll try to go through the presentation pretty quickly. There's a little bit of more technical content, so if you do want to stop me and ask a particular question on a slide, it might be easier to do that, so don't hesitate to intervene if you'd like. So as Daniel mentioned, this is part of a SCAG grant, and Montebello was bundled with these 3 other cities, and we are performing identical scope of work for these other 3 cities. And so, you know, the role really is to support the creation of objective standards, and I'll get into what those are in a moment, and also to help the city streamline the review of housing projects. So in terms of the timeline, this is the overall timeline, and we did come and present to you, goodness, a little less than a year ago. So fast forward, we had a public workshop back in June. It was an open house format that we held here in the lobby area, and then we'll be speaking and presenting to the city council as well. So in terms of, there was a number of deliverables associated with them listed here on the left. So we did do an initial kind of existing conditions analysis. Then we looked at the permit form for multifamily development. We created an online interactive fee estimator tool, and I'll touch on these in a moment, as well as an objective development standards toolkit and toolkit fact sheet. So what are objective development standards? This diagram, and apologies, the text is a little small to read for you there, but essentially these are types of development and design standards that you see in certain cities. Some are the more kind of fundamental height restrictions, but others get into more design-focused elements around ground floor design, entrances, open space, step backs, things like these, which are all items that we covered as part of our recommended standards. And just to clarify, objective standards are measurable requirements that are easy to understand and include terms like shall and must, as opposed to should or may, which sometimes appear in design guidelines. They're inherently straightforward, requiring no special knowledge or personal experience to interpret or review. So as an example, a guideline might say, plant appropriate trees along the streets to maintain community character. Well, that's a little vague and fuzzy for a developer or architect to interpret. So an objective standard says something like trees shall be planted every 10 feet, for example, to provide shade. So where would the standards apply? In the R3, R4 mixed-use corridor districts, as well as the housing opportunity overlay zone that applies more as an overlay as opposed to a separate district. So in terms of outreach input, I won't go through every one of these bullets unless you do have questions, but we did hear a lot of good feedback that we were able to integrate into the proposed standards. And application form, I should say. So in terms of the deliverables overview, so this is the last section. I'll just touch on each of the deliverables I talked about, and feel free to stop me with questions. So we did update the permit application form for the city, just look at ways we could kind of improve the look and feel and update the text, and really make it easy for applicants to understand what information they might need to submit, and really try to help streamline that process. We also created an online calculator, which will be going live very soon. This allows property owners, developers, architects to get a sense for the fees associated with developing in the city. So there's a greater level of transparency around the cost of development. And so this is an online tool that that will be available ongoing and can be updated over time by city staff as fees change, if they would like to update the site. The ODS toolkit is kind of the meat of the project. It's the Objective Development Standards. It is called a toolkit just because I'm not here before you tonight with zoning changes ready to adopt. Essentially, we're trying to take things as far as we can with city staff, and then they will, as a next step, incorporate those into zoning code updates that they would take back with you for a more formal approval process. So when we created the toolkit, we did provide some extra information around considerations or intent, just to provide that extra context as further discussions occur with the commission and other bodies as the next phase happens in terms of integrating it into the zoning code. So here are some examples of the type of standards that we help city staff develop. This is an example around street setbacks, looking at ways to make sure that buildings address the street and create more of a street wall to create a more pedestrian-oriented environment. We also created diagrams to go along with many of the standards to just really help communicate what the standard is trying to achieve and ask for. This is an example of a setback requirement that might be more applicable in a multifamily zone versus a mixed-use zone, so some subtle differences there. In terms of interior rear stepbacks, one approach that works well in many cities is using this kind of encroachment plane, where if you're next to a particular zone, you might require development to kind of step back in this way against a 45-degree plane to just provide that extra transition between different types of zones. Then we have some ground floor entrances standards. So looking at making sure that entrance are set back slightly from the street so you don't have doors swinging out into the sidewalk. Looking at having facades that are transparent and inviting, so you don't have a lot of blank walls right at the ground level, for example. And looking at how the entrances can be distinguished architecturally so that it provides that additional level of quality of design and pedestrian orientation on the ground floor. So this is an example of a stoop environment, and so we included some standards around ground floor entrances specifically for residential-only buildings to really help create that nice interface at the sidewalk. Again, and then looking at transparency in facades as a whole, so making sure there are enough windows designed into the building to provide the high-quality design that we're looking for in Montebello. We have some recommended common open space requirements. So by this, we're referring to open space that might be separate from a balcony or a patio that is specific to a unit, but actually common open space that are shared by tenants of a building. We believe this is important for a few reasons. One is it helps modulate and break up building massing. So kind of indirectly affects the design of the building, but also it creates that valuable way to interact with your neighbors and to have types of open space that are larger than what you would get out of a small balcony, so that you can have friends over for a barbecue, you're able to hang out in your outdoor space, and so people who are living in, or residents in the building are able to enjoy that kind of backyard type activity as part of a multifamily building. And then there's private open space requirements, and we provided some examples of minimum size requirements, for example. And then finally, surface parking. So some recommendations around landscaping and setbacks associated with surface parking, to not allow potentially in some areas that kind of strip mall layout that's not as pedestrian oriented and is not as kind of design friendly and aesthetically pleasing in many situations. So that's really it. I know I breezed through. I wanted to be, respectful of your time, but I'm happy to answer any type of detailed questions that you might have.
Thank you. Any questions for the presenter?
I just had a general question. I'm wondering what sort of outreach was conducted in developing these standards?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What outreach was conducted in developing these standards?
Yeah, let me just back up to the,
You talked about it briefly, but
yeah, happy to review. So we did 2 rounds of public workshops. In addition to a previous meeting with the Planning Commission, it was a study session. So you can see here on the timeline, we did a public workshop in September last year, almost a year ago. And so that's really where we didn't have standards to react to at that point. That was really more of an information gathering workshop where we presented a general information about what the project entailed and asked people what they thought of design and what were the important kind of elements of multifamily and mixed-use development in the community. And so we were able to integrate that into the development of the standards. And other aspects of the streamlining process too. It wasn't just focused on design, it was just streamlining in general. And then the public workshop in June was more of an open house. So we presented a number of boards with kind of detailed examples of the standards and just took questions from people that were in attendance and really tried to have a more specific design focused conversation at the open house.
Gotcha. So were any of these events targeted in areas that had, I don't know how to say this, but were in areas that already have apartment buildings?
Yeah, I mean, I can let the city kind of comment on that, Monica, if you'd like to.
So if I may, the first public workshop was actually held in the Hollyfield Community Park. So we did that one not only because it was available, but to obviously allow the public to, a public setting that would be more in the area that has more multifamily. So that was held, like I said, in the community center. The second workshop, we did it more like a common space where it'd be mutual. So we did hold it here in the lobby of the council chamber.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? If not, I have a couple of questions. Thank you, and I really love these development standards, but because I think I've mentioned a few of them in the past with the proposed developments here, mainly for apartment buildings where open space kind of has been a big thing for me in the past. So I love the focus that's been placed on, the quality of life for, tenants in an apartment building in terms of providing them with open space. But the general question, maybe this is more appropriate for staff, is this something that can be incorporated or maybe has already been incorporated into the adoption of the new general plan that is being worked on? Or is this just general recommendations for future standards to be maybe adopted into the code requirements in general for the city?
Yes, this would be unrelated to the general plan update.
Okay, yeah. Well, I love them. That's good. Thank you, because if these are not a requirement for a design of any type of building, whether it's a retail restaurant or an apartment building, the developers either will not give it to us if it's not required because they don't see it as important. But if we prioritize, these requirements for not only for aesthetic purposes, but to also improve the quality of life for us that live in our city, through an apartment building or, commerce or, walkable street areas in the main, boulevards along Montebello, I think they won't give it to us. So this is good. Thank you. Any other questions, comments?
Is the fee calculator toolkit already available on the website or?
Yeah, we have a beta version, and so it's live internally, but we'll be able to share it publicly very, very soon.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also another good feature. So you must apply for permits also. That's why you're asking. That's good. Because it does give you a good idea as to, fees, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Even
good.
for the client,
Yeah.
it's
Very useful. And I know Mr. Palombi also knows about that.
Mhm.
Okay, great. I don't see anybody else with additional questions, so thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the consent items is number 4.
Yes, so item 4, it's again a consent item, and it relates to a request to extend the expiration date of an approved tentative parcel map, and this would be for 1 year and relates to the property located at 1234 South Montebello Boulevard. I like that address. It's pretty catchy, 1234, right? And Grace will give a brief update to the commission. Thank you.
Not a made-up address.
Right, it's not a made-up address.
Good evening, Chair, members of the Planning Commission, and public. Tonight, like Joseph was saying, I'm going to be presenting the next item, which is TPM 0120, and it's an extension request for tentative parcel map number 0120 to subdivide an existing 13,878 square foot lot into 2 lots located at 1234 South Montebello Boulevard, Boulevard. Oh, sorry. And then it was previously approved back on June 25th, 2020 by the City of Montebello Planning Commission, and then approved for another 1-year extension back on July 16th, 2022 by the City of Montebello Planning Commission. The property owners were unable to start this project due to some health issues and the pandemic, so they are requesting 1 more year to get this project started. And resolution number 1020, section 4, subsection 1 indicates that this approval shall lapse and become automatically void if the privilege authorized is not utilized and recordation by the county of the final map is not obtained within 2 years from the date of this approval. And the Planning Commission may extend this period for 1 year upon receipt of written request by the applicant at least 30 days before the expiration date, and a written request from the applicant to extend TPM 0120 for 1 more year was received on June 8, 2023, and a copy of the written request is in attachment B of the staff report. If granted, the period of extension will be for 1 additional year, and the new expiration date would be June 8, 2024. And that concludes the presentation.
Thank you. Any questions for staff? Nope. Thank you.
For consent calendar or consent items, we could do a motion to approve both of them together in the same motion. Or if the commission would like, we could do it separately. It's up to the commission. But a motion for both, please.
Thank you. I just have a quick question. Can we have a quick reminder of what the proposed scope of work is involved here?
Yes, so maybe Grace could, this is basically an extension of an approved
Right.
tentative parcel map, and the scope of work, and maybe you can provide some information as to the lot size, yeah.
Yeah, I have the old the original resolution here, so I can just kind of go off of this. So originally it was a tentative parcel map, and it would allow the subdivision of 1 parcel into 2 parcels at the property. And
Was this for 2 single-family dwellings? Is that what the scope is? Thank you.
I don't think there's any development associated with it, just
But
development
but in the,
diagram.
okay, but in a single-family residential zone? Yeah. Oh, okay, okay, thank you. Sorry about that. Just wanted to put it out there for the record and for myself, because I think I remember this one. Was I here? I hope. A couple of years, okay.
2020.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, appreciate it. I don't know if the commissioners wish to speak from, we wish to hear from the applicant. I don't, but if somebody wants to, we can then open up this for public comment or public hearing.
I would like to know a little bit more about the process. I'm wondering what, because this is, we would be extending the ability for the applicant to finalize the tentative parcel map, right? Not necessarily the project?
Correct, because the project has not been submitted. I think it was only to subdivide the lot to eventually develop.
Okay.
And just to provide a little more clarity, I believe they are allowed 3 one-year extensions, so this would be the second or the third?
So the original one, I believe, was a 2-year period, and then after that, you're allowed 1 more year. So that would be this period.
Okay. Does that help? Okay, any other questions? No, okay, thank you. Okay, so I don't think, it sounds like we don't need to open the public hearing. So can we entertain a motion to either separate the 2 items or combine the 2 items if it pleases the commission?
I'll go ahead and combine the 2 items. I'll make a motion to approve the tentative parcel map, TPM number 01-20 request to extend the expiration date for 1 year with recommendations 1 and 2.
Thank you, I'll second that.
All right.
Can we get roll call? Thank you, roll call.
Chair Cuevas?
Aye.
Commissioner Lomelli?
Aye.
Commissioner Medina?
Aye.
Commissioner Morales?
Aye.
Those items are approved. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, moving on to the next item on the agenda, Planning Commission orals.
I apologize for being tardy. Everybody's out of work and I rush here as fast as possible.
It's not a big deal, I think, because we sit here for just a few minutes, just awkwardly staring at nothing. But it's not like you're here like hours late, so I wouldn't even worry about it, at least for me. But I appreciate that, thank you. Any other comments? To the commission, or because we're?
So we were approved for an extension for the subdivision portion, correct?
So it's 1 additional year, so basically June of 2024. By that time, you have to have your parcel map recorded with the county, basically finalizing it.
If I'm not mistaken, it already has been. You guys had everything for me to be heard. That's why I wasn't able to give you guys the reason. I mean, there was a lot of health issues, not just on our family end, but also at the surveyor's end. I mean, yeah, this kid had a cancer. I mean, we would have no idea. And I paid him, and I was not able to get a hold of him to get the letter. It was all like this. Everything is done. It has been submitted, so hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, it's going to get done pretty soon. So thank you for approving it. And by the way, great job. That restaurant thing that you guys approved for the beer, it has had so many different owners. Nobody can survive out there. Finally, somebody can actually maybe survive over there.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Good luck, sir.
thank you. All right, who were we making fun of? No, nobody? No, just kidding.
I heard she was buying lunch. That's what I heard.
Okay, I'm in.
Buy lunch.
Or you bring cookies next time. Okay. All right, so I guess the next item is adjournment. Thank you all for being here tonight. Appreciate everyone's time. Great job, staff and the attorney. Meeting adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.